Hello and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, KK Kaneshiro. We recently learned that there will be a changing of the guard at the Fremont Unified School District for 2017-2018 school year. Current Superintendent, our favorite co-host, Dr. Jim Morris, has announced he will step down at the end of June after 7 years. While we will certainly miss seeing Dr. Morris, and we are very excited to welcome Assistant Superintendent Dr. Kim Wallace, who will take the reins as Superintendent on July 1st. Dr. Wallace joins us today along with Board Education President Ann Crosby to talk about the transition and what we can expect for the new year. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
This must be an exciting time for you and maybe a nerve-wracking time, but what's going through your mind right now as you're about to take the reins in a few weeks?
I'm remarkably calm,
I know.
which is strange, and I think that really what's going through my mind is Dr. Morris has created such a great environment in Fremont Unified. He has a vision and an execution of that vision that has just been so good for the students and families here. And so I feel like I'm being left in good hands for Dr. Morris and his leadership over the last 3 years where I've been here. I've learned so much from him. So I feel like it is probably about as smooth a transition as possible, but I know that there will be learning curves along the way for sure.
Yeah, of course. Now for anyone who is watching or and doesn't know who you are, you've been Assistant Superintendent for 3 years. Can you give everyone a little bit about your background?
Yes, I sure can. I was born in Castro Valley, which is just right down the highway.
California girl?
Yes, and both of my parents were teachers. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then they met actually at the high school where they were both teaching and got married. So
nice.
Yeah, so my sister's a teacher, so it's just a whole family of educators. I knew I wanted to be a teacher from the time I was probably in 9th grade. And had some very inspiring teachers of my own in Castro Valley. And so I went to college, got my teaching credential, and went back to Castro Valley High School and taught there for 6 years.
Nice.
And I had a great experience learning as an early young teacher how to be a good teacher. And then I moved up to the Sacramento area. I was a teacher for another several years, 10 years in all. And then I started to look into going into administration. I worked as an instructional coach for 3 years at a middle school level after teaching high school for 10 years.
Right.
And then
And that was still in Sacramento, right?
In Sacramento, in Elk Grove School District. And then I took a vice principal position at a high school. And that just kind of started the ball rolling into administration. And then I found a job in Davis, California, and I was a principal there for 5 years. And while I was in Davis, I decided to get my doctorate in education. And so I went to UC Davis, which was right down the street from where I was working. It was very convenient.
Yeah.
Got my doctorate while I was working full-time as a principal.
Wow.
And then I got hired as a director of instructional technology, which was a very interesting gig because I didn't have any technology background at all. But I knew how to manage, and the technology department needed to have somebody with more of a instructional focus, and so they hired me as instructional technology director. Then I wanted to work my way back down to the Bay Area, which is where my family all still lives. And I applied for several jobs in different districts, and when I got to Fremont, it was like the skies parted and the sun was shining, and I said, this is my home. This is the greatest place I've ever been and ever landed. I've loved my job since the day I got it.
You can't tell.
Yeah, I know.
Really can't tell. Wow, congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
But out of curiosity,
Sure.
What made you make that leap from teaching to an admin position? Because that's scary for a lot of people.
Yes. I think that it's just the desire to... when I was a teacher, I only had impact on the students who came through my doors every day. And as an administrator, you're able to impact so many more lives by establishing policies and protocols and developing kind of larger scale relationships with the community and with resources to bring in to help all students. And so feel like I just kind of started growing in my leadership capacity, and then doors just kept opening, and I just kept walking through them, and it
meant to
just
be.
felt like, okay, well, here's the next step. Hadn't planned for it, but I'm here, and every place I've been has just led me up to this
Nice.
wonderful, amazing opportunity that I have before me now.
Well, I'm excited. Are you excited?
I am so excited. It's a great moment to be able to call Kim and be like,
Yeah.
guess what?
That was a great moment for me too.
So were you the one who called her?
I got to call her. It
Oh,
was
I didn't know that.
super fun.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So for
It's
most,
kind of like that, be careful though, because it's like the dog chasing the car. Guess what? You caught it.
lucky you. So how does this work for anyone who doesn't understand how the board works with the superintendent? What's that relationship like?
Well, it's interesting, and I think you're right. I think that people don't understand
Yeah.
what our role really is.
We know we elect you, but then what do you do?
You elect us. We represent the community. We make sure that the dollars that come from the community into our schools are spent wisely. But we really have one employee, which is the superintendent, and then the superintendent has all the other
The
employees.
3,000 other people.
Yeah, all
Okay.
the other people.
Okay.
So our role is really to make sure that the we're up here, and the superintendent's sort of making sure all the on the ground pieces are happening.
Okay.
So we just make sure that in the vision that we're moving in the right direction.
Okay.
And one of the nice things is I feel like we have been really making great progress because of the leadership of Dr. Morris, and we feel like we'll continue that with
Nice.
Kim.
Nice. Now, for anyone out there, so since Dr. Wallace is your one employee, just to educate our viewers here, even though she was assistant superintendent, it doesn't automatically mean she gets the superintendent job. So what is that process like for anyone who doesn't understand? What's the process of hiring her?
Yeah, so I would say that's the first thing you do is you have a few heart attacks, and then the brain hemorrhage happens, and then you decide. No, it was a lot of real heart searching for the board. You don't want to make a mistake,
Right.
I would say, because it has such an impact. The leader has an impact on the district and our students. I think
And parents.
And parents, it does definitely impact parents and the community. It's a big decision, and really, I think more than anything, Dr. Morris has shown that you really have a huge impact in the community. So for us, it was a big decision on whether or not to go out in a search firm and to look far and wide for the right person, or to look internally. And we had a lot of discussions, heartfelt, like soul-searching discussions. I think we felt, I will say for myself, I think that I felt that if we went outside, that we would be in a situation where we were asking somebody to come here and lead and not necessarily know the history of what we've been doing the last several years, maybe have their own vision and their own direction they wanted to take the district in, and really we want somebody who understands what we've been doing and will continue us down this road, which isn't to say that Dr. Wallace won't have her own vision. I fully expect that, but we have sort of a joke that we talk about, the Fremont way. We have the Fremont way. Fremont is very different from a lot of districts, and that's good. I think that everyone should be like Fremont, because we have a lot of success, we do really well. So we have somebody here who's excellent at her job, and we just think that she'll be able to keep us going in a positive direction.
So what were some of the qualities that sold you on her?
I think one of the things that's really
We're trying to get the deepest insight about you.
Well, it's a huge asset. Is one, she's very understanding of curriculum and instruction, which is key. That's what we do. That's our business. And in addition, I think you can have leaders who get very married to their own ideas, and they say, okay, we should do this, and if there are landmarks along the way that say it isn't working, but this was my idea, and I feel like, and they want to just keep marching down a road, regardless of whether or not it's beneficial, if it's working. And I think Dr. Wallace has really proven that she'll look at the data and say, okay, we're trying this, how is it working? Okay, the data is not showing that
Right.
this is successful. So this was good, this needs tweaking, and she's constantly recalibrating, which I think, I mean, not in a like crazy, like we're going
No,
like
yeah,
this and she's
yeah.
going to go off this way,
Right.
but you always have to recalibrate what you're doing to really
Very
get the
solutions
most.
oriented.
Yeah, and data driven, which I
Yes.
think is important.
Very important.
I call it making course corrections.
I like
There you
that.
go.
I may steal that. Okay. Now, do you have any exciting plans that you want to start implementing when you take over? I mean, can you tell us or give us a little hint? I mean, because
You know, I think the wisest thing to do is to continue to get the lay of the land in the new position. I know what I'm doing in my current position and could go full forward,
right,
but my focus, as President Crosby has said, has mainly been around the instructional realm. I need to get a deeper handle on the instruction as it's related to the construction and the human resources, and really have a well-rounded strategic plan that comes of that. So I think that what I've talked about with the board quite a bit is I see myself as a person who brings cohesion and coherence. And so what I think I'll probably be doing the first 6 months is pulling the strings together and saying, okay, these are how they all flow.
Right.
And here are the board goals. Here are the district goals. Here's instructional goals, human resources goals, business goals, and then site goals. And so I'm very much a systems thinker, and I like frameworks. And so I think that what I will do is work on how those frameworks then result in action plans.
Right.
Because we've got a big year coming up in 2018-19.
Yes, we do.
We've got our first middle school opening. We have the unification of our 3 Spanish language dual immersion programs coming to one site. We have a possibility of the Robertson continuation school moving onto the adult school campus.
Right.
We've got, you know, a laundry list of
We have a lot of moving parts.
2018-19. And so I
Yeah.
keep calling it the countdown to 2018-19. And so I think really backward planning.
Yes.
We've got a year to get ready for 18-19 and make sure that all of those variables play out as smoothly as possible. There's only so much that we can predict. Well, let's work on what we
Right.
can predict, so then when the unexpected comes, we can at least have the right roots around it and the right foundation. And so that's really what I'm going to be doing, is
That's great.
putting together the team who's looking at that action plan.
And I would say this is another way in which Dr. Morse has really set us up, because, you know, sometimes you have leaders who like to make sure that they're indispensable, and he really hasn't done that. He's put
Right.
great people in place, which is why we've been able to ask Kim to step up, you know, great people in place to support all the different areas that you're going to be relying on for sure. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we're excited.
Yeah. So this is not part of the questions, but is there an opportunity for parents to get to know you, or is there some kind of welcome party or reception? Just an idea.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great one. I think that we have had different groups within the district that are parent oriented. So I think it's a great idea for well, Kim will be, Dr. Wallace will be. I was like, I have to watch what I'm saying.
You can call me Kim. Everybody, for the record, can call me Kim. I'm just
Dr.
a
Wallace,
person like
that
everybody else.
hard-fought doctorate.
But you
Yes.
worked hard for the doctorate.
I did work hard for the doctorate, so just occasionally call me Dr.
Okay.
Wallace.
Well, we have to be
The
formal.
rest of the time
have
is
that.
Kim.
Okay.
We'll make sure that those opportunities,
Yes,
absolutely,
yes. Okay.
because
Yes.
I think they'll be excited.
Yes, and I've had parent groups already do outreach to
Oh,
me, and
nice.
I just actually was the keynote speaker at the PTA conference that they had on Saturday, which
Nice.
was really fun.
That's great, because
Yeah.
I know I've been asked questions. Oh, are you going to get to meet the new superintendent tonight? You go, yeah. Well, can we? I go, I'm sure you could.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Okay.
we're going to have a lot of opportunity.
Good. Now, I know we have got a couple minutes left, but I know this is an important question. Growing enrollment is a good problem, but a big problem. Budgets concerns are always an issue for us. So how will you be approaching them in your new role? Because you're a big thinker to me. You see the whole picture after you read all the data. So do you have another creative way of handling this, or making sure that we have room for everyone?
This is the million-dollar, trillion-dollar
Yes.
question for Fremont, because we have to work in partnership with the city. We
Right.
have to work in partnership with parents and families. And the industries in Fremont as well as the builders. And so there's a lot of different components involved. So I think building relationships with all the entities is really important and key. But we do have immediate problems of overcrowding. We are overloading 2,400 students from the elementary schools presently. As we're growing in 1,000 students a year for the next several years, we're slated to reach 40,000 within a handful of years.
Wow.
And so
In 4 years.
I said in a handful of years.
handful
I'm not
of
sure
years.
exactly what the
Okay.
number is.
But
It's
still,
between
that's
5 and
fast.
7 years. It's coming quickly.
Yeah.
We're growing 700 to 1,000
Per year.
per year, which is an elementary school
Yes.
per year.
Yes.
So how do you pay for that?
Yes, so it's really paying for the new buildings. So kudos to Dr. Morris for those level 3 developer fees, because that will help immensely as we
Yeah.
move forward.
Well, I cannot congratulate you enough. It's a well-deserved position for you and for us. Very happy for us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. President, for coming. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And from everyone here at Community Conversations, we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.